Hello, readers. Welcome to Book Launch, the best thing to happen to Tuesday since tacos. Tonight, we are congratulating debut author C.T. Masaga with his first book, November's Dawn. The last of humanity survives on an ark deep under the ocean, safe from the deadly climate above, until they're not. Internal strife between classes and external threats from a malfunctioning ark risk their precarious balance. One engineering apprentice holds the secret to saving them all. But first, she has to decide whose side she's on. If she chooses the wrong cause, not only is her life in peril, but the future of the entire human race. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Welcome, welcome. Are you excited, Chris? Are you excited? Congratulations.
I'm very excited. I'm happy to be here. It's a surreal moment to, go through this journey and put everything into a book and have all these characters running around in your head and seeing them materialize on the page, and then now seeing it actually be a physical thing. It's very neat.
It's a real thing. It has literally manifested into a physical thing, as you said. That's pretty awesome. But it did take a lot of work. So I do want to make sure we introduce Jesse Sprague, who is here, who was your developmental editor. So we are so proud of all the work that she put in. How are you feeling, Jesse? Is this nice seeing this thing out in real?
It is. This was a good project to be on. It was a lot of fun.
I'm always happy to hear that.
Man, my authors never say it was fun. I don't even know what to say. So that's awesome. So y'all worked really well together. And I'm wondering, because I do want to note that your main character, Iris, has like beautiful red hair, and so does Jesse. So I'm wondering, was that influence like that, and actually so do you, Chris? Like, what was the red hair? Like, was this just meant to be?
I don't know if it was meant to be. So Josie,
Josie, not Iris. Thank you, Northern Lights. Yes.
Yeah, no problem. It probably stemmed from myself having red hair and my whole family having red hair, I would say. It was a sort of natural choice. I don't know if there was a whole lot of sort of story backing or plot reasoning for that. It just felt right, and it was something I wanted to explore. And once she materialized and became the protagonist, that it just fit.
I love it. I love it. It's funny seeing everyone on screen, and I just realized everyone except me has that gorgeous red hair. So that's fantastic. Well, she definitely has the fiery
found our audience.
Right. I think Josie definitely has the fiery personality to go along with the hair. So I'm wondering, why did you choose this particular character to be your lead? What is it about her that attracted you to it?
Well, I think Josie, she's a character that has a strong voice. She has a very strong sense of being, and while she is certainly flawed and conflicted in a lot of respects, there's no doubt through the pages that she knows who she is and what she values. So she had to have a personality and a perspective that really fit that sort of background for her. I think it creates an authentic environment, and putting her in that environment to create real tension and circumstances that she could kind of find herself and grow within the novel itself.
Yep, it worked. That's the magic of YA, right? You get the young adult and you actually get to see them grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. And Jesse, I saw the first chapter out of the query inbox, and then I sent it to you to see what you would think and if this was actually worth publishing. And you were like, yes. What was it about this that you were like, yeah, I think we can definitely publish this and make this work?
I don't know that it was any one thing. Like, it started off, I read it and I'm like, everything about this feels like it's on track for what YA should be. The characters are right. The feeling is right. It's right where it should be genre-wise. And then I got to Adrian, who is the villain. I mean, a villain. And I went, okay, this has something special. I didn't expect this. It works. and it makes it stand out. And so that's what got me.
I love it.
Well, I don't want to cloud anybody's judgment of the book, but my favorite character is Adrian, but by far he was the most interesting for me to write. I don't want to go so far as to say I related to him the most, because who knows what that says about me.
That you're determined and focused and want to do what's best for your people.
Absolutely, that's absolutely it. All the other stuff is just perspective.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So Adrian, I'm glad that that was a character that resonated with you, because I think that his dynamic and he brings to the story was something that I was really excited about to explore. I'm glad that it worked.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, 100%. He was my favorite character, and that was through the whole process.
Jesse has a thing for bad guys, though. Just warning.
I do.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Vanessa side-eyes Adrian, so Vanessa knows what Adrian's up to.
Well, she was the very first reader of the very first draft, so she's seen how he's changed.
Yeah, Tracy says that Jesse has great taste in villains. I love it. I love it. And everyone, make sure, please, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and I'll make sure to ask them. Matt wants to know, is Adrian a red-haired bad boy as well?
No, Adrian is not a red-haired bad boy. I'm not sure if you could describe a middle-aged man as a boy.
I mean, the way we're talking about him, he almost sounds like the love interest, but he is not. So I see that confusion. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad boy, but he has some fun qualities.
But there is a love interest for Josie, even though that simplifies their relationship way too much, I think. But he's definitely there. So can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, so one of the, great friends or just people within Josie's orbit is a fellow teenager that she's very familiar with, Miles. They sort of go through this journey together due to circumstances demanding that. They're sort of thrown together and they have to react and move forward and figure out what the best course of action is and what that they're supposed to do in this situation that, for all intents and purposes, they shouldn't be in. Like, the kid shouldn't be thrown into that, sort of turmoil.
For sure.
And Miles is, he's a strong character for Josie. He has a lot going on in his own right, in his own personal life. But for her, he's, I think, a great foundation. She's someone that she can rely on again and again. And that sort of twists and turns throughout the novel, but Miles shapes a lot of the way that Josie sees things and how she reacts.
For sure. Sometimes we have to see our actions reflected in someone else before we really realize what we're doing.
Absolutely. She's one of the few people that I think, she trusts wholeheartedly without, reservation. And she's his companion.
Mm-hmm. Which is also why if she distrusts...
He's her companion.
Right. Which is why also if she distrusts, forget it. So she definitely has like a rocky relationship with her mother. And this is like very common in YA fiction. And her father has passed, and this is not, I'm not giving anything away. It's on the back of the book because this is important. And so the only parent she has left is her mother, and then she has her little sister. So why was it important to you that was kind of a rocky relationship?
Well, I think it stems back from, her sense of character and what she sees in herself. Having a character with that sort of, how you describe that fiery personality or that strong sense of being. I'm not saying it's impossible, but a lot of the times that something like that develops because something has, stimulated that sort of thought process or, I feel that I need to be strong or not let people walk over me because of the situations or the experiences that I've been in. So, creating that dynamic between her family, I felt was pretty important to authentically portray her as a person.
Yep, makes sense to me. So of all of these characters, since you said you don't want to say you relate to Adrian the most, is there another one you relate to the most?
Well, I will say I'm going to go with Adrian. I don't relate to him in a lot of his actions and the way that he does things, but I do relate to him in the reasons and um, the impetus of why he's doing a lot of what he's doing. He feels a great need, a great burden to humanity, and doing in his perspective the right thing. And I think a lot of the times, people say the right thing or what the correct course of action is, but it's all up to interpretation and perspective. The right thing for me is not necessarily the right thing for somebody else. So for Adrian, he is doing the right thing.
Yeah,
And I think that that's interesting.
I love it. I mean, for all in the book, we're not sure what the right thing is, so it actually works really well. Also,
Yeah.
I'm laughing because Greg said in parentheses, it's Adrian. And then when you're saying Adrian, he's like, called it. He knew.
Yeah. I got to stick to my guns with that one.
That's right. All right. So the entire novel takes place on November's dawn. And this is deeply, deep, deep, deep under the water on this humongous vessel that's walking on legs.
Mhm.
So my question is, Jesse, Chris, you are about to get shoved onto this. The entire earth is going to be unlivable. You can't live on the surface anymore. You're going to be shoved onto this. You have onto this, ark with the last of humanity on it. You were lucky enough to get tickets, but you have 10 minutes to grab things. What are you going to take with you? Jesse, what are you going to grab? Assuming your people are already going with you, okay? I want like a material thing, not like, your family. Assuming they're
Well,
already with you.
having read the books, makeup becomes worth a lot of money. Like, I could grab just like a palette and resell that.
Just wait a few years till everyone runs out.
Capitalism thrives.
I love it. I mean, something we wouldn't think of. This is why we have to read dystopian novels, right? So we know how to prepare. I love it. What about you, Chris?
Um, I don't know. It feels kind of like a cop-out answer, but probably just like my computer. It has so much of the work that I've done, the things that I value and care about that, I wouldn't want to lose that. And also it's fairly small. I could just grab it and run. So no problem.
True. That's true. I don't know. I think I would just grab yeast. Like I need a big old bag of yeast because I don't think I could live without bread. And as long as I have the bag, I can make more. So yeah,
There you go. And then you can sell it.
I have priorities. I mean, not that we're gonna have flour, but we will have something the yeast will grow on. There will be something. Awesome. I love it. And everyone from the audience, please remember that you can ask your questions. Actually, encourage to ask your questions so that we can do it. Vanessa says that she would bring an easy bake oven. I love it. I love it. Easy bake oven. I mean, that's going to be compact, right? So it'll fit nicely in your little compartment. It doesn't take too much energy. I mean, I think this is the way to go. So, Vanessa, you and I are going to have to get together because I'll have the yeast, you'll have the baking equipment. We can make this all work. So, yep.
Just a whole bunch of entrepreneurs.
That's right. Well, aren't we? That's what we're doing, right? Look at these small businesses we're running, right? Making this magic happen. Matt says Chomp's beef sticks for sure. Food deep under the sea has to be questionable. Yeah, right? I mean, protein's got to be, especially because they can't just open it and go fishing, right? They are under the water. So yeah, that's got to be a whole, I mean, they're deep. So you can't just, let's throw a hook out. I must say, because it was so dark out there, I did want more creatures in the water, but there was so much stuff going inside, there was no time for that.
While writing it, I did think about that a fair amount, and I tried to incorporate it in a couple different ways, but yeah, it's something that, you're writing, then I go down a rabbit hole of describing something, and then, 2 pages later, I look at it and I'm like, what is this really doing? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe in the second book, or, seeing how things go, we'll take a little bit more of a look at what that looks like. I think there's a lot of potential. It's a sort of post-apocalyptic landscape, so who knows what you might find.
Yeah, I'm going to say in the
Um,
second book it's going to be necessary because, spoilers, things change, in case you're wondering, at the end of the novel, because that's how novels work. So I'm going to say you're definitely going to have some kind of fun creatures going on.
well, I don't want to say I got to go back to the manuscript and all of a sudden add a bunch of scenes now, but you give me something to think about.
Book two, though. Book two. Well, like I said, there was no room. You couldn't have, unless this thing was going to be 200,000 long. And I know some people do that, but that's not our jam. So I will tell you, November's Dawn is just like other books we have, as in it is quick, man. When you're ready to sit down and read that book, you're going to be reading that book all the way through. And I'm wondering, like Jesse, as you were dev editing it, did you consider that, or is it just because it was just a natural thing to keep the pace nice and quick?
Actually, I will say this was a great project to work on because everything was very responsive. The first draft was significantly longer, and it was one of the things I said, just not even just because it's what you publish, but because YA tends to be shorter. They're shorter books. And I brought it up, and when it came back to me, it was down to the length I had asked for. And I was like,
What?
this is brilliant. It just happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I believe when I originally submitted it, it was right around 100,000 words, maybe a little longer than that. And yeah, Jesse said, you need to shave off at least 10,000 words. And I was like, all right, here we go. And I just cut whatever I could find.
I love it. It's pretty impressive. Y'all work well together. I like that. Northern Lights wants to know, how many books are you planning in this series?
November's Dawn is currently planned to be a trilogy. And yeah, I think at this point that feels right to me, with sort of where the story can go and develop. I did write a short story introduction to the universe that's available for a free download. So there's potential for little stories or spin-offs, whatever. But the core story will be a trilogy.
I love it. It's very exciting. And also, Zafo can put up, he just did. Excellent. Thank you. Put a link. So if you want to get your copy now, it is available in ebook and paperback, and it is also in Kindle Unlimited. So if you have access to that, you can read it through there as well. And we'd love to hear what you think about it. Sid wants to know, do you plan to have a time jump between books, or are they immediately sequential?
No time jump. It's a continuous story. At least between books 1 and 2. I can't speak for sure about 3, but at least right now, I don't foresee that being the future.
And I will say, as the publisher, we try to keep those. We try to not do those as much as possible. So
if there
needs to be a time jump, it's another series.
Minimal.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's another thing then. We need to see Josie through, man.
Exactly.
That's right. We need to see her through. I look forward to seeing what happens with the next one. And Chris, I know that you are having a big celebration Saturday. So where are you? Because you are up like in the Chicago area. Can you tell us a little bit about the book launch you have planned for Saturday?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough that a bookstore in Ottawa, Illinois, so it's not quite Chicago, but fairly close still, signed on to host a book launch event for November's Dawn. So we'll do a book signing. I'll read a couple chapters. Folks will have a chance to ask any questions. So that's this Saturday, the 13th, and it's going to be great. See me in person.
There will be cake.
Yes.
The cake is
there
not a
will
lie.
be cake and other snacks.
Yeah, so exciting. So excited. I wish I was closer. I wish I could go to everyone's book launch. It would be so much fun, but I am so glad you're celebrating. So this is one way you're celebrating, is that you are having this book launch. Is there anything else special that you celebrated because this was your first book?
At this point, no. Honestly, I'm just trying to get through this week. So, between the launch, between the event on Saturday, if everything goes good, I'll feel good about it, and we'll go on from there.
Then we'll have celebrations. You're like, I just need to survive now. Lysandra
Exactly.
says that they can't wait to get their copy. Marlene says that she can't wait as well. And Nicholas wants to know, will book 2 focus on the same characters in terms of like the protagonist and stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be the same core, group of people, obviously with new folks introduced and new twists and turns, but yeah, the same cast.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I love it. I love it. Um, so Jesse, having been the dev editor for this and a little less biased than the author, who do you think this book is for? Who would really enjoy it?
I think anyone who likes YA sci-fi. It's like it's really on that beat. It's not to say that it's not different. It is. It has a lot of really wonderful and original elements, but it's really on the beat for YA sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And also it is like very low spice. So the like very low. I would comfortably recommend this for a 12-year-old. And the only reason I wouldn't go younger is because there are advanced 10-year-olds that read, what 20-year-olds do, right? It's because there is violence in it. It is, dystopian, post-apocalyptic. So at that point you'd have to decide. But I would easily say 12 and older. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with that. There's, I think, some more advanced concepts intertwined through it, but certainly nothing that a young teenager wouldn't be able to pick up on, or at least start to understand.
Yep. No, I like that. I like having something when we go by and you have that 12-year-old going, "Oh, I want a book." And I'm like, "Ooh, not mine." Sorry, Jesse, not yours either, right? So I mean, like, Chris this is perfect. This is perfect. You're gonna love it. So no, I love it. I'm excited by that. And so now I'm curious, this being your first, published book, I'm assuming it's not the first thing you've ever written, right? But maybe, finished and obviously gotten to this point. Did you always intend on writing YA? Is this like your comfort zone, or is this just where the story went?
Um, yes, I would
Hmm.
put simply, I think young adult is my comfort zone. It's not the only thing that, I read. I read a lot of other genres as well, but I think that I just gravitated towards it with my own sort of inner, I don't want to say monologue, but when I begin to write, that feels the most natural to me.
Hmm.
I also grew up during the era of, Aragon and all of that. So I think that likely shaped a lot of my preferences and um, going that route.
Yeah, generations, right? Generations of us. Um, let's see, Zafo and Vanessa also, thank you, Vanessa, put up your newsletter. So everyone who is interested in that short story, you can click on the newsletter link, or the website link, and you can join the newsletter from there. So you can get your short story, which is amazing. I actually got to read the short story before the book, so I was very happy about that. It was pretty darn good.
I actually, one thing I would just say about the short story is I very intentionally wrote it to the point where somebody could read it before or after
Hmm.
November's Dawn. It makes sense either way. It adds a lot of context and storyline, but it's not a requirement that you read it before anytime.
Excellent. All right. We have a theory around here. Oh, wait. First, Vanessa says that people who would like this novel is anyone who likes a badass female character that doesn't need a man to fix things for her. That's right, because Josie does not. She takes care of
Exactly.
business, man. Yeah. So, no, I like her a lot. Without, by the way, just being violent, right? It's like nowadays to have a strong female character, they have to be able to be just as physically violent as what would traditionally be the male hero arc, right? And that is not
Yeah.
how Josie solves problems always. That's not her go-to. And that's not how she solves the problem. So I like that as well. There are other ways to solve problems besides beating someone up.
Exactly. Leave that to the other people.
Leave that to the other people. That's right. But we have a firm belief over here on Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing that if people like you, they will also like what you are writing. So I'm wondering, Chris, right now, what are you watching?
Well, so I kind of have a twofold answer here.
Okay.
First off, I've kind of been swept up in all the Dune stuff going on. So the second movie coming out, I went and saw that. I'm also reading the book, so I'd never read Dune before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like a companion piece of watching, the first movie and then the second one, and also reading the book has been fun because I'm sort of experiencing all of that for the first time. Growing up, my dad and my brothers would watch the 80s version of Dune, but I never enjoyed that at all. I did not like that movie. So I think, now it's I'm looking at it from a different perspective, so that's been fun. The other thing that I just recently watched, that maybe actually why I gravitated towards it aligns why I wrote a book like this. But there's a new animated show, Ark, the animated series. It's based off the Ark survival video games. It's on, oh gosh, I believe Paramount Plus, but it's sort of the idea is that, and you'll have to excuse me, I didn't play the game, so I don't know the whole story, but based on the TV show, humanity suffered some sort of issue, and their solution was these great ark stations put into space. And each one of these little arks was a like self-contained habitat of like dinosaurs and all sorts of prehistoric things, and humans from all eras of history were all thrown in together. So that's been really cool, and it has a really A-list cast like Gerard Butler, like shoot, I can't remember. Oh, like Vin Diesel is one of the voices. So I would recommend that. It's fun. It's only like 6 episodes, so it's quick to get through. But yeah, pretty cool.
Vanessa said that you also regularly watch the Harry Potter movie, Lord of the Ring movies, and sometimes out of order. Oh, you rebels!
Yeah, no, I can watch any movie out of order. If I've seen it once before, then watch it whenever.
Those are comfort movies, right? Comfort movies. I get that.
Absolutely.
And so you talked about what you're reading then. So you're reading Dune. Are you going to read the whole series or just the first book?
Honestly, I don't know at this point. I got to get through the first one. I have a bunch of other books that are just sitting there waiting to be read. So I think that would be a spur of the moment decision if I was at the bookstore and I saw the next ones, maybe. But right now, I don't think I'm up for it. I don't have the endurance.
I told you, this might be an unpopular opinion. Jesse, have you read this series? Have you read the Dune series?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've read the whole, what is it, 5 books, 6 books?
But I was a kid.
Whatever that means.
Like, they were read to me in elementary school, like.
Yeah, I read them not that long ago. I felt like I was supposed to. I don't know why. Sometimes I get this thing in my head, right, of things I'm supposed to do. And the first book was entertaining. The next, whatever the books were, I can't even remember anymore. There's such a blur because they were not my thing. Look, I'm being nice. Not my thing. And it wasn't until the very last one, with that features, the witches, right? That one was good. But like all the stuff in the middle, I was like, I can't believe why am I reading this? Like I would say that more than enjoying what I'm actually reading. So you let me know if you read it. I'm very interested to see, because most of the people I know that love this series read the whole thing a very long time ago, like you, Jesse, right? Like all you remember are certain scenes, right? You remember cool little scenes and that kind of stuff. And writing has changed. I don't care what anyone says.
It has. 100% it has.
Changed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if he was sitting right here writing those books, they would not look like what they do right now. So
no, I don't think a publisher would look twice that.
No, they definitely wouldn't. And then people are like, well, that's sad. I'm like, no, it's not, because you know what happens? Frank Herbert would have rewrote it, and we'd still have all these awesome, amazing characters, just in a way that's a little easier to read,
Yeah.
which is what we like, especially with that kind of stuff. Like the themes are deep enough, right? We just want to read them and have fun. So that's what you're reading. The last thing is, what are you listening to?
I'll be honest, this may be an unpopular position, but I don't listen to a ton of music. Although I will say now that it is getting nicer out, as summer's coming, I definitely gravitate towards country music as as the seasons change a little bit. But yeah, honestly, other than that, when I go to work, I listen to podcasts. So one of those sorts of people.
I mean, that's fair, but you work in an office all day. You don't listen to music while you're like at your computer?
No, I actually find that distracts me a whole lot.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not one of those people either.
Do you listen to music when you write?
Sometimes. However, it's more like on the instrumental side if I do
Oh,
that.
same. Yeah, there can't be words
So like
in it.
no lyrics, nothing like that.
No, I agree.
So
How about you, Jesse?
I
You need
disagree
lyrics?
heartily.
there we go. That's the one point we can't work together on.
That's it. Y'all can never work side by side. I love it. That's awesome. All right. Well, you are wonderful. I am so, so happy that you get to hold this baby in your hands now. I'm excited. Please send us lots of pictures on your party on Saturday. You deserve it. So we're very much happy. Jesse, do you have any final words for Chris?
Just enjoy it. You only get the first once. So just have fun with it. Don't stress about it, or it will go how it will go. Enjoy it.
Yep, enjoy it. That's great advice.
Yeah.
I'm going to record that and just play that for everyone. And Chris, now that we've made all these new fans for you and they cannot wait to get your book, where can they find you and your work?
Yeah, so I'm mostly active on Instagram for social media purposes. So that's at CT Masaga. Other than that, you can go to my website, which is ctmasaga.com. And like we mentioned before, that's where you can sign up for my newsletter and download the short story Chasing the Dawn for free.
So good. All right. Thank you, everyone. And congratulations, Chris. Well done, Jesse. And we will see you next week.
Thank you.